So excited to kick off all of this wonderfulness, all of this awesomeness with a dear friend and colleague of mine, Pratik. Pratik and I have gotten to work together over these past few months, and I am just astounded every time we have a chance to talk because he just blows my mind with some new little tidbit or anecdote or funny story. Pratik, how are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful, Anthony. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Are you excited to be here at ZeroCon?
Absolutely excited and so excited to see so many people here with so much energy in them. I'm loving it.
Every time I come here, I always see and meet new people, and it's one of the absolute joys of being at this event. But Pratik, this is all about you, and so I want to understand a little bit more about what you've been up to these last couple of years.
I've been building this startup. It's called RampMyCity. We provide infrastructural solutions at places of public usage to make them disable-friendly. So that's the startup that we have been building up in India.
That is so cool. I wonder how that looks on the ground, because there's a lot of different kind of accessibility initiatives, especially when it comes to like the built infrastructure. So what sets yours apart, and what have you been kind of concretely doing lately?
So what we are doing is building solutions from lived experiences. So in India also there's a lot of noise on ground about built environment, but everything is at policy level. As a wheelchair user, when I started to go out, I realized that I still cannot access facilities like a metro station, an airport, a bank. They were still out of reach for me. So we thought we need to do something very practical here when it comes to retrofitting. And that is where we started RampMyCity, where we say, we are not going to wait for the government to take action, we will take action. And that is where we became the direct implementation agencies, where if you require a ramp, you require a toilet, you require doorways, you require emergency evacuation, or you require consultancy, RampMyCity is a one-stop shop to provide all your accessibility solutions. So that's what we're doing in India.
Pratik, I absolutely love this because I want to reiterate what he just said there. You know, policy is super important. We need legislation. We need some top-down frameworks for action. But Pratik here is taking the action. He is going grassroots, trying to build this initiative and really just change things up in India, and I find that incredibly awesome. Tell me a little bit more. I want to drag it all out of you. What are some of the cool stories that you've gotten to see? What are some of the changes you've gotten to witness?
Sure. So when we started this whole initiative, we saw that accessibility is looked upon as a charitable cause, and we wanted to make it popular. And so the approach that we adopted was that rather than doing some building in a rural area, let's do a building where a lot of people visit. So we started targeting places of high public impact like popular restaurants, hotels, metro stations, airports, so that inclusion can be seen, heard, and felt. And because of that, it got a lot of traction in India. And a lot of people started getting interested, right from the government to the corporate, to the commercial establishment. And they said, hey, we love that solution, and we also want it. So how can we go about it? And that really opened doorways for us to get more business and to make more places accessible, and that's how we've been going about it.
This is so, so cool because you're hitting on something that's really near and dear to my heart. Like, we need policy, right? But the machinery of government sometimes moves by design, a little bit slower than what society needs. So you're addressing the social needs directly. You're kind of targeting the buildings, the high traffic areas to really make these environments accessible. And I find this to be super, super, super cool. So I want to hear a little bit more about you though, because I love a good origin story, and I love like seeing a hero kind of rise up and take ownership of something. So I want to hear a little bit about you. How did you get into all of this?
So the story goes back to 2014, where I was this guy who was living his dream life. I had a perfect career. I was traveling all over the world. I had good family. I was a social butterfly, partying all over the town. And I was just living my life. But on this particular day in 2014, I had an accident. I fell off in an under-construction building, due to which I had a spinal cord injury and I had a paralysis waist down. After being a wheelchair user for 3 to 4 years, I was just doing physiotherapy at home. I was trying to recover, still trying to absorb that I have a disability, because sometimes it's not on day one that you want to accept it. So acceptance comes with time. So 3 to 4 years, I struggled with it, and then I said, what the hell? even if I'm a wheelchair user, I want to go and live my life. If I'm a very ambitious person, I want to go pursue my career. I love going out, meeting people. I want to do that. I want to travel. I want to eat food at different restaurants across the country and the world. So I started going out. But when I started to go out as a wheelchair user, it hit me because I could not go out. And I saw that inaccessibility is very large in India, and I started right from our homes. The building that I stay in does not have an accessible entrance. The public transport is not accessible. The public buildings, you want to go to a school, a police station, a public park, nothing in India was accessible. And it really hit me very hard. And I said, okay, what is the government doing about it? And when I read into the laws, and yes, there is all the kinds of laws and building codes and everything is there, but it's all in books. Nothing is on ground. And that is where we thought, this is a good business idea. Because in my head, I'm a business guy. I want to, and accessibility needs professional solutions. It does not need charitable solutions. And I thought, so let us put in some startup here, and let us, instead of waiting for somebody to do it, let us do it ourselves. And that is where RampMyCity came in, and that is where we started approaching different locations to make them accessible. So that's the story.
Dude, there's so much I love about your story. I first of all love the fact that you were just like a party boy at first, and then this, tragedy happens to you, and you weren't willing to necessarily accept it, right? You were kind of resisting the fact that this is my life now, and when you began to accept it, that was when your call to action happened.
Yes.
That was when like your hero's journey began. So I want you to take us back to those initial moments when you first started seeing all the problems around you. What was it that kind of kicked off in your mind? What was the feeling? Was it upsettedness? I imagine it might have been anger. Like, what was that experience like?
I was very angry and I was upset because I could not go out anywhere. And it was like a lockdown, right? When during COVID, there were a few weeks or months of lockdown, the whole world went into a nervous system breakdown. We had anxiety attacks. I imagine persons with disabilities having such a large population, they face a lockdown because they can't step outside their houses. And that is what hit me very hard, and I was shocked that how can such a large population be ignored, and especially in a developing country like India. So yes, but you cannot stay in anger or depression always. I'm somebody who's always looking for solutions. And that is where I thought, I know the problem, and I can't live with the problem. And the entire world will crib and cry about a problem, but let us not do that. Let us change lives, starting from my own life, and let us be a solution provider.
Cook, brother, cook. I'm loving everything you're saying here. I want to drill down to some concrete examples because you talked about being a business person. Obviously, you're an innovator, and you got one of those minds that is looking for the solutions to really challenging and difficult issues. You did not tackle the easy stuff, the low-hanging fruit. You tackled some of the most intransigent problems in society. So tell me about the business model. Like, how are you tackling specific projects? Who's come to you in terms of your clients that you've tried to help, you've tried to support? What's that experience been like?
So even building a business has been a learning for us. First, as a first approach, we started approaching different companies to be more accessible. But then we saw that because the law in India is not very strict, we saw that the companies really did not have the budget or the intent to be more disabled friendly. So we saw that as a gap in the market where companies are not ready to put in the money. So we thought, okay, how can we now turn it around? And that is where a model struck us in India. There is a model for CSR, corporate social responsibility, where every country that has a revenue over 500 crores, they have to put 2% of their annual profits into social causes. And I saw that is a really big market. So the model that we built was that we went to the corporates saying, hey, corporate, we put this money in us. We will build inclusive infrastructure and give you a branding. Your names, your boardings will be all over the town. So why don't you put this money in us? You'll be part of making inclusive cities, plus you'll get great visibility. And corporates were really happy with that idea. They said, wow, that is new and we love it. Why don't you, because instead of putting a billboard, you can rather have 50 ramps or 100 toilets around the city with your name on it, right? And then we went to the government and we said, hey, government, we don't want money from you. And government was very happy to hear that. We said, we don't want money from you. We want permissions. Come on board as a permission provider and let us do the interventions at your properties. And the government said, why not? We want to build an accessible India. Come on, let's do it. So it was a strategic collaboration between the public and private sector where RampMyCity became the implementation partner. And that is what our scaling model is right now, that use the CSR money, give the leverage to the government, give the visibility to the corporate, do the implementation, and make India more accessible. So that's the model that we're working on.
I mean, this is so brilliant because you saw that niche, you saw the finances, right? You already had a head for like, this has got to be a sustainable business model. And then you were like, let's capitalize on this. Let's bring in those partnerships that you absolutely needed. Now, I'm wondering, because a lot of innovators don't get to start out with that level of traction. And they might be intimidated by trying to approach a corporate or approach the government. I'm wondering if you could give them some advice. What would you tell them if they were ready to schedule a meeting, but they didn't know what to do next?
Nothing came to us easy. And I was so much into doing cold calls, reaching people out on LinkedIn, reaching them through some networks, and especially during what worked to our advantage was where people come. So a lot of corporates at that time were open to listen to your ideas. And during COVID, we built our whole network where I started to reach out through friends, through cold no. And yet, eventually, it all got filtered out, and I started reaching the right people and doing the right pitches and getting in the right traction and the right business for our company.
I'm loving this. I hope that you guys have heard what he is saying, because that's the pathway. That's the roadmap. And if you didn't hear it, check out the recording afterwards, because you're going to want that knowledge, that wisdom. All right, let's talk about pathways to the future. What's the future looking like for you, 2027, 2028, and beyond?
So RampMyCity has built a scalable model where we have replicated. We started from one restaurant, and now we are in 10 cities and have done more than 1,000 locations across India accessible through ramps, through toilets, through tactiles, through signages, various solutions that we are providing. And now, through Zero Project, we're also hoping to go international and make it from RampMyCity to RampMyWorld. And that's the focus we have right now, to take the whole initiative to the entire world so that no one is left behind and everybody's included in all the activities as a human that you want to do.
What can the audience do to keep up with what you're going, the journey you're going on?
We want your support, so please reach out to us and follow us on our social media handles. So if it is Instagram, our handle name is RampMyCity. If it's on X, or Twitter, as formerly it was called, it's on rampmycity.com. That's where you can reach us, or you can also